So the time value of money works in both directions. What we call present value and what we call the future value. We're going to start with the present value. The present value says if I'm due to receive $1 million only a year from now, that amount I'm going to receive is worth less than if I had that $1 million today. In other words, if I had to negotiate with the person who's going to pay me $1 million a year from now, try to get them to pay me early, to pay me today, that person would only come to a settlement or agreement if he paid me less than $1 million. How much that person will be prepared to pay if he had to pay now, maybe let's say $950,000. That lower amount is called the present value. It is the present value of $1 million that I'm due a year from now if the amount is settled today. Now, this process of working out what a future amount to be received is worth in today's money is calculated by applying what we call a discount rate or present value factor. A discount rate is simply an interest rate which has been adjusted to take into account inflation and all the other risks and costs that need to be taken into account. We're going to learn how to calculate a discount rate later on, but for the purposes of the examples we're going to do, I'm going to give you the discount rate. Now, attached to this module, you'll see a page called Present Value Tables. You can use these to follow the examples I'm going to do. If you have a financial calculator or you know how to use the present value functionality in an Excel spreadsheet, you can use this too. There may be some small rounding differences with the tables, but the important thing here is you get the principle. Let's do a couple of examples. In my first example, we have an amount of 5 million, a discount rate of 15%, and it's an amount that's due a year from now. What is the present value if you had to express it in its value today? Go to your present value tables and you're going to see that on one of the axes is an interest rate. Go to 15% interest. Go on to the other axis and you're going to see there's a number of years. Go to 1 year. Where the 1 year and the 15% interest rate intersect, you're going to see a present value factor of 0.870. If you multiply 5 million by that present value factor of 0.870, it will tell you that the present value of that amount is 4,350,000. That is the present value of 5 million due a year from now if the discount rate to be applied is 15%. It is 4,350,000. Let's do a second example. In this example, an amount of 10 million is due 5 years from now, and the discount rate is 12%. Again, going to our PV tables, if we go to the interest rate of 12%, where that intersects with the number of years of 5, we get a PV factor of 0.567. If we multiply the 10 million by the PV factor of 0.567, we get a present value amount of 5,670,000. That is our present value for that particular transaction. Let's do one more just to land this plane. There's an amount of 30 million. It is due in 10 years' time. It is due in 10 years' time. And the discount rate is 18%. Go to your present value tables, look at the interest rate of 18%. where this intersects with the number of years, 10 years, we get a present value factor of 0.191. If we multiply the amount of 30 million by the PV factor of 0.191, it tells us that 30 million, which is due 10 years from now, if the discount rate to be applied is 18%, in today's money is only worth 5,730,000. 5,730,000. That's how the present value is calculated. It is simply calculating how much a future amount is worth if the cost of inflation, the opportunity cost, the related risks are considered and captured by way of a discount rate.